In this video, we're going to be looking at creating the admin wrapper. This will contain the sidebar and also the top menu. So the last video, we looked at creating the routes, creating the application and installing the node modules. If you haven't seen that video, you can jump back onto the previous video. I've got a link at the top here, and you can join back to this video once you've watched that. Okay, so let's get started. Now the first thing we want to do is create a div, and that will have a class of a UI sidebar, and it's going to be a visible vertical menu. And inside here, we're going to have a few routers. So the first one is going to be a route to the dashboard. Then we have one for the users. We're going to get rid of this one for the roles. That's Copilot automatically filling that in. These routes, you'll see that they have a class of item. They have a router link. This is a router link that we specified inside of our admin routing module. And then we've got this router link active. Now this router link active, when we're actually inside this route, the route is active, it's going to give a new class of active. So this item here will become item active, and we can use that. For styling. So we'll flesh this out in a minute with all of the pages. I just want to show you what it looks like on the front end. We're also going to create a div down here with the class of pusher. And then we're going to pop this router link, this router outlet inside of it. So if we now save that and view the front end, you can see we have this sidebar, but unfortunately we can't see the content here because it's actually sitting behind this menu. So what we need to do is just figure out the width of this menu. That menu is 208 pixels wide. So we'll go back into here, we'll go to our styles for this page, which are admin component styles. We'll say dot pusher, and we want to say margin left 208 pixels. And then we're also just going to say width is going to be equal to calc 100% minus 208 pixels. So if we now look back in the front end, we can see it here. Let's give it a bit more actually. Let's say 210, just in case. So it looked like a slight overlap there. And that looks much better. So we can see we have our dashboard and our users, and we can use these routes to click through. Dashboard works, users works, and you can see this active route working with the grey outline. So let's now add in the rest of the pages. So what we do is we copy this item one out. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to have dashboard. Let's have pages, posts, then media, comments, tools, users, settings, and appearance. Cool. And let's change these routes to match that as well. So it would be admin/pages, admin/posts, admin/media, admin/comments, and admin/tools, users, settings, and appearance. I'll just copy that one over, replace the A. So if we save that now, go back to the front end, we can see we have all of them down the side here: media, comments, tools, users, settings, appearance. All working lovely. What we can do here as well at the top is we can add a little logo in. So we do that the same way we did the dashboard. We want it to go to /admin, which will automatically redirect to the dashboard. We won't have an active class on this one because we don't want it to change colors or be highlighted. And inside here, instead of having home, what we're going to have is a image tag, and that's going to be linking to our asset folder. And we're going to create a folder in there called images, and then drag our logo.png into there. So down here, we should be able to see an assets folder. If we right click on there and create a new folder and call it images, and then if we find our logo on our computer and just drag that into here. I'll be using this one for this example. So once we've inserted that and we click save, we can see it on the front end here. So we can actually get rid of the padding around this. To do that, we jump back into our code, we go into the admin.component.scss, and we can type .item, and then we do nth of type, and we do 1 inside of the brackets here, and then we do curly brackets, and we do padding is 0. Click save, jump back into the front end, and you can see it's got rid of that padding. You can see a little white line around here. That's just the border around the menu. We can look at getting rid of that. So the next thing we're going to be working on is a menu across the top here. To do that, we're going to be using Material UI. You can go to material.angular.io and click on components, and it will show you all of the components that you can use. For this one, it's going to be the toolbar. So we're just going to copy this one here. We'll actually copy this blue one here for now, because we're just going to have an app title and this little sidebar here. So I believe that is this one here. We copy and paste this in, and that will go inside of the pusher above the router outlet. Paste that in. We need to close off the mats-toolbar here. So as you can see, it's red here. That's because this is currently not installed. We've installed Material UI, but we need to start importing the actual modules. Now, because we've got lazy loading on this, we'll actually need to import the module inside of admin.module.ts and not app.module.ts. So if we go into admin.module.ts, we can see our imports here. And we go into here and we say mat toolbar module, and then what we can do for the import, we can jump back onto their website, and we can see under here we have our toolbar overview, and under that we have APIs, and we can see our import here. So we copy that, come back into here, and we paste it into there. Click save. I hope if I spell that correctly. There we go. And that's now linked up through here. So if we click save, so you also get an error saying mat icon is not a known element. So if we jump onto the Material website again, find icon, go to API, copy the API reference, go back into our code, and we paste this back into the admin module.ts file, copy the name and paste that into the modules. Click save. We should be able to go back to the front end, and it should be working now. We also need to import the buttons module. This will make this button show correctly. Currently that's the default button. So if we scroll back up to the top, go to button, API, copy this, back to our code, paste it in, and the same as we did for the icon module. Now when we look at the front end, we should have this lovely looking icon here. So now we did notice on the Material website, this icon was over on the right hand side here. Now they have a spacer on theirs. So if we jump back into here and go into toolbars, under here we click this and we go to CSS. They've got this example spacer with a flex of 1, and auto. What we'll do is we'll copy that into our codes. We won't call that example spacer, we'll get rid of the example and just call that spacer. Click save, go to the HTML file, get rid of the example here, click save, back onto the front end, and we can see that we now have a sidebar, and we also have a top bar up here, and all of our content showing in the middle. So we can now navigate this as a standard single page application, all set up lovely. And the other great thing about us setting these up as modules, if we go into the routing, it's also set us up with lazy loading as well. So now that we have the surrounding content here. We can tidy this up a bit later on, but we have the means now to create the central part of our application. In the next video, we'll be looking at creating the pages tables, the actual pages form, and we'll see where we go from there as well. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.